Yes, Ahmed. And here.
Okay, great. So let me start with a very short presentation. So we'll learn about the AI-DBA. I'm sure that you guys seen the AI-DBA online event in the meetup and you read the description. And at the moment you are wondering, what is it? So AI-DBA is the software as a service solution that it will connect to your Microsoft SQL Server database instances, and it will try to perform the administration, recommendations, monitoring, um, performance tuning. If let's say you are required to do backup recovery or snapshot from the backups, or let's say from the databases, it helps you to do that. It's something for monitoring, automation, recommendations, and fixing the problems. Later on, we are going to show it in the demo that what's the features that it has. But anyhow, uh, we categorize the features of the AI-DBA in 5 pillars. One is the AI administration, is more on database administration, which uses the machine learning for forecasting, predicting, and recommending the changes based on the workload. And the second pillar is more on intelligence performance optimization. Again, based on the workload, it checks your queries, the resource utilizations, and try to tune it. And tuning it does by rewriting the query. It does by um, redesigning the indexes. It's not just by rebuilding or reorganizing indexes. It can redesign the indexes. It can go through the execution plans and interpret all the operators and finds out which operator is costly and try to tune that operator. Intelligence over data security, which performs the workload analysis, find out the user access pattern, user behaviors, and it will, notify the administrator if there's any abnormal activities. And the fourth pillar is the intelligence communication, because we realize that in the market, most of the monitoring tools is just for sending the notification, but it doesn't accept any comment from the users. Like here on AI-DBA accepts the comments through the email. So when you email to our AI-DBA support, AI-DBA has all the info and it can come up with the recommendations and reply you back within a minute. And another, the last pillar is the extensive knowledge base, which if let's say there's any severe alerts and errors, it goes through the internet, it finds the workaround, and it will advise you what to do. So yeah, let me, yeah. So here what we have, AI-DBA has a kind of service. As I said, it's the software as a service, but we need to install a kind of gateway. So this gateway service will connect your SQL instances to collect the event logs, traces, metrics, management views, which is the DMVs and DMF, and the user activities. Then it will push it to our cloud repository, and our cloud repository and the engines behind it will perform the what I call the analysis and come out with the AI administration recommendations, preventive maintenance, security hardening, abnormal activity detection, and performance tuning, predictions, real-time notification, and automation. So who benefits from AI-DBA is the DBA team, database developers, and application developers, because all of them, they are dealing with the database, and the database stability, performance, and security is mandatory for all these 3 teams. Right now, AI-DBA has repositories and in different data centers, mostly on Azure at the moment. So we have 2 in North America, 1 in Canada, 1 in US. We have coverage for Asia Pacific based in Singapore, South America based in Brazil, and Africa based in South Africa. For the Europe, we not yet deploy our region there because we are working on a GDPR and some compliance at the moment. So AI-DBA supports from SQL 2005 to 2022, and all the editions from Express Edition to Enterprise Edition. And it manages also the Azure SQL Managed Instance, Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Pool, but right now they call it Synapse. And it covers the Google Cloud SQL for SQL Server and AWS RDS for SQL Server. Let me show you the demo. It's very simple. Once you log into portal.ai-dba.net, it leads you to the sign-in page. Here we have this demo account. So once we sign in, it goes to the portal dashboard. So here we have the scorecards. We have total recommendations, failed recommendations, succeed recommendations, and any severe alerts and errors, it appears here. But there's more on scorecard. So here, for navigation, servers, security, data gateway, and subscription. So here we have servers. If you would like to enroll any new server, go ahead. You can just click on servers. Then the enroll server will appear, number of databases, the score, the health score of the server, and the last health check. So anytime you are able to perform the health check, you don't need to wait for your consultant or your DBA. You can just check it out and click on health check, and it will ask you, would you like to perform the health check for this server, and click submit, done. So once the health check is done, it will come out with a bunch of recommendations to improve the performance, security, and improving the administration. You are able to export your inventory. Export inventory means that it will collect all the metadata repositories like the jobs, the configurations, instances, databases, the insights, and so on, and export it as an Excel file. And this will help you for preparing for, let's say, you would like to do consolidation, or you would like to do migration to the Azure, and you want to know what objects you have, what databases you have, what is the compatibility level, and so on. It gives you in one view. To enroll the new server, you just click on the enroll, then you come out with the alias name. So alias name is the unique name for your SQL farm here, or the list of enroll server here. It has some constraint. You should not have dash, backslash, underscore for the alias name. So only alphanumeric values, the characters. Server address, port, platform. You are able to choose your platform. If let's say you are running SQL Server on Azure VM, then you need to choose SQL Server. But if you are running your SQL on Azure SQL database, which is the platform as a service, then you need to choose your Azure SQL database. Once you enroll the SQL, then it appears as this. So it has the basic information, which is number of cores, the environment, whether it's active. And here we have some basic monitoring metrics here, like memory utilization and the processor utilization. The intelligent part of the AI-DBA is the workload. So here we have this workload. AI-DBA, as I said in the beginning, it understands your database workload and come out with the peak hours and the non-peak hours. So this filled green dots is the peak hours for this server for over the weekdays. And this is like pattern analysis. It doesn't mean that every day, let's say every Sunday at 3 a.m. is a peak hour, but it seems like in the past 3 months, every Sunday at 3 a.m. was the peak hour, but it can be changed. But this is the pattern that it managed to find. And another thing that is intelligence is the insight. AI-DBA is able to describe the server insight for you. And here it is. And predictably, it updates it. So after every health check, it will try to update the insights. And it will come out with a text and tells you what's going on with the server, what's the processor utilization, what is the page fault utilization, is there any memory, what I call it, the pressure, physical memory pressure, internal, external, and let's say what is the impact, what's in summary, the storage utilization, the MCR, and so on. It will explain it to you in a text. So this is the overview. We have access control. At this page, it allows the users, which users able to access to this server through the AI-DBA. So this is not covering the SQL logins. This is more on the accounts that have access to this SQL, enrolled SQL instance within the AI-DBA portal. Here we have configuration. So in the configuration, you're able to set the health check schedule 2 times a week at specific time, or you can go by interval. So every 3 hours, 4 hours, or 12 hours, and so on. But by default is the weekdays. And here you are able to enable and disable some of the features. Like, for example, you don't want AI-DBA to clean up the stale plan cache. You can turn it off. Or you don't want AI-DBA to monitor your storage activity. You can turn it off. But by default is on, except autopilot. So the autopilot by default is off. But if you enable it and you can set the rules here, you are able to say that, hey, if there's any recommendations about database compression or database configuration, please automatically schedule it based on the non-peak hours that AI-DBA understands and execute it. So this is something like automation, autopilot. You can set up all your tasks here, like creating missing indexes, creating statistics, like for example, updating the statistics or user database backup plan. Just submit it and automatically will do that. So this is something make your life easier. By default, we turn it off. And you are able to set the notification. So if let's say you would like AI-DBA to send an email through your SMTP server to your support email address, like for example, you enroll AI-DBA for your company, and you set up the notification setting. And if there's any severe alerts, AI-DBA will send an email with the detail to your support team. And here is the support email. And the support team can, apply the workarounds and so on immediately. You are able to integrate with the Azure storage, blob storage, which you can turn it on and off, and you are able to integrate with the DevOps GitHub at the moment. So any recommendation that is generated, it will be published and pushed to the GitHub as well. Here you are able to edit your connection string, and here's the timetable. If you would like to AI-DBA have a kind of influence, like you say that, hey, AI-DBA, I'm sure that Monday 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is my peak hours. You can simply add it. Or if you want AI-DBA to do that automatically, you just turn it on and save it. That's it. So far, do you guys have any questions? This is not, this is more on product intro, and I would like to interact with you guys as well. If you have any questions so far, please raise it. Yeah. If not, then I can pause it. Yeah. Edward?
Sorry. Hi, Hamid, and good morning to everyone. So basically, I can see the tab with documentation here. Is it going to create? Is this AI-DBA is going to create automatic documentation for the project and for databases, or it will be
Correct.
something that will be created by ourselves and something that we will store as a user of this, as an administrator of this platform?
Yes, correct. So this documentation, it will generate the document for your server. So you can even export all the content that you would like to have. Let's say like database, long-running queries, backup history, warnings, missing indexes, and so on. Mostly it's a technical documentation, including the insights. And once you choose any content you would like, then basically it generates the document. So let's look at this documentation. Here we have like it will generate it automatically for your server. But this very short, let me create a new one that it comes all together for the latest health check. And I submit it.
So
Yeah.
it's being constantly updated and generated automatically by the platform, correct?
Yes, you are able to basically export it as ad hoc, or you can click on subscription. You can say that, hey, AI-DBA generate document every Monday or every first of the month or after every health check. And what you would like to have inside. Let's say we edit this. So you can choose what you would like to have here and who's gonna receive the documentation. And it will automatically generate it and email to the person.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So yeah, let's look at the databases. Yeah. So in the databases page, we have all these databases, lists of the databases that we have. SQL instance, we have status of the DB, recovery, which is important to know at glance, the size of the DB, memory utilization, CPU utilization, and IO style. This list is not in real time. It gets updated every 5 minutes. So we cannot say that it's real time. It's not like live monitoring. But it gives you some insights that what's going on. And here, if you select the DB, you can either copy, snapshot, or move the database to another server or within the same server. So if let's say we copy, it says that, hey, where's the destination? But this is SQL 2022, so we don't have the latest version. It doesn't show the destination. Let me go to another server for timing. Okay, let's say SQL 2016, databases, and we click on adventure, works. Yeah, so now it shows the current server, the version, but different server. And here we have different SQL 2017 and 2022. And you can name it. The new name is optional. If you don't provide, it will copy with the exactly same name. But I would like to have the new name 03 and the staging. So the staging is the place that the backup will reside. If we choose data gateway, which it will run and keep the backup within the data gateway server, the virtual machine or the environment. If let's say you configure the Azure storage for SQL 2016, the source, you will see Azure storage as well. Okay. So once we click, you confirm the copy and you submit it. Done. It's going to copy in the background. It takes about 5 minutes to kick in the copy, and it will take maybe another 5-10 minutes to copy and restore the backup into another server. Or if you would like to take snapshot, you can take the snapshot. Or if you would like to move the database, you can do that as well. You can just click on the destination server. You can make sure the new DB moved. Here, you can set it the source database offline. Means once it moves, you set it offline. You don't want to have the source database to be online and accessible. And meanwhile, is moving the DB, the source DB, it will be in read-only access mode. So there will be no write inside the DB. And again, you can choose your staging. One thing that I would like to share here is the insight. Yeah. So AI-DBA, as I said, it understands the workload, the resource utilization, and come out with the insight for each database and the server. So we have here the processor utilization over time, memory utilization, storage, average IO, read and write. And based on the data that it has, it will say that, hey, what happened? Until it had some sudden spike, and the application changes, configuration changes, and if there's anything happen, and the forecasting as well. It will try to forecast as well what might happen for this database server. This will help the DBAs to look ahead, and it will save a lot of time. It's a like time machine for them. It will tell them what might happen in the future, and they can prepare. Another thing is that optimize queries. Right now in AI-DBA, it optimized the long-running queries that is identified automatically. Let me look at another. Yeah. So it automatically tune it and rewrite the queries. But in the next version, we are going to accept the script. So AI-DBA will accept your script and your query, and it will try to tune it automatically. So if you click here, you can see the original and you can see the optimized. So it depends to the estimated improvements, what has been done. Like for example, if let's say this is it, then we can see that it's added just schema binding, and it performs the hypothetical execution and find out that over 80% is improved. And another one, we have backup and recovery. So here we can see the active backup and restore case live, but right now we don't have it. And here we have another insight. So it shows that what is the backup time for each database, how long it took in average, and how many backup sets we have, how many of them are corrupted, total size of the backup, and how many backup files we have. If you would like to take backup, you can just click on here and let me go to SQL 2022 backup. Yeah, so here we have list of the databases, and you can choose your destination, Azure storage, local storage, or remote storage. If remote storage, then we need to use SMB protocol. And if you would like to restore, you can choose your database again. It will list down all the available backups, either remote storage or local storage, or even Azure if we have. Then once you choose, you are able to enable the point in time, or you are able to say that, hey, I want recovery, or I don't want recovery. Sorry, I don't want recovery, or I want recovery, or you would like to relocate it, or you would like to replace it. If you say no replace, then you need to add on the name of the new database, and you confirm, and it will restore it for you. Some of the DBA's task is to clean up the backup files, old backup files, and here it can be done automatically. You can choose those databases that you would like to remove the backup file, and you can say when is the cutoff date. So I can say that any backup older than 1st April, I would like to drop it and delete it. Then it says that, okay, it's the 15 backups, the size, estimated size is about 1.8 GB, and the earliest recoverability, you have nothing. So once you clean up, you have no backup from your databases. What happens if I say, hey, I want to make it, let's say 15 March. Then it says, okay, is it 10 backups, 1.2 GB, and earliest recovery is 19 March. So it gives you some insights that what happens if, let's say, you drop or delete the backup file. The core of the AI-DBA that I'm proud of it is the recommendations. So in the recommendation side of the AI-DBA, it will predict and come out with the script and try to fix your problems So here, it will generate bunch of recommendations, which is related to administration, maintenance, performance tuning, and many other things. But right now in this server, after health check, it managed to generate all these recommendations. If you would like to know about the recommendation script, you just click and the script will appear. And every recommendation, it has a rollback script as well. Here, if let's say you feel like you apply the recommendation, but it didn't work well, you are able to roll it back. And if you would like to know more about the recommendations and why it generated, you click here. It will explain to you what is it. This is good feature for those people that they are not DBA, but they are, required to manage their database servers and they don't know why the recommendation is generated. So AI-DBA actually explains the script. So here we have the explanation. And one thing I would like to highlight, the explanation is unique, is automatically generated per recommendation, per server, per account, and you cannot find, duplicate the description for the single recommendation. So you cannot find that. It's totally unique. And here, if let's say you would like to schedule this guy, you can just check it. You click on approve. Again, we have the description. You can apply immediately. You can apply during the low workload, which again, based on non-peak hours that it understood, or you can apply the custom date and time. Let's say we apply immediately. We submit it. So its schedule is pending execution. It will take about 5 to 10 minutes to execute. If let's say you decided to abort it, you can just abort. Yeah, done. So it's aborted. If let's say you execute it and you would like to know the history, then you can look at it here. If let's say you decided to roll back, if there's anything that it has rolled back like this guy, you can revert it easily. Done. If you would like to look at the impacts or the effects of the recommendations, you can look at this. This is analyzed after every time you generate or let's say approve the recommendations for execution. It generates it and it says that, hey, if you apply these recommendations, user database file replacement, it reduced the IO storage or the usage. Like for example here, CPU usage is remain the same, memory usage remain the same, and query lifetime remain the same, or it increase or decrease. If let's say you would like to influence the AI-DBA recommendation engine and say that, hey, I don't want you to recommend anything related to upgrade and patching or anything related to changing logins, default, or any other thing. Like for example, here, you don't want to receive any recommendations about backup encryption. Just put it as an exception. I don't want it. So it will never generate and never show it here. Another engine that is fascinating is the severe alerts and errors. It detects it in real time and find the workaround in real time as well. So once you click, let's say you have severe alert and error. Once you click on it, it comes out with a workaround. This is the workaround. This is the step-by-step guidance. And if let's say this doesn't work, don't worry, you can click next. This is another workaround. And you can see it, basically it scrap the web and the internet content and come out with a reference as well. And it will show you based on the rating. And we have another one and another one. Don't worry, if it doesn't work, you can engage our support team. Okay. And any questions so far? Okay, then I can proceed. Then the next feature is a trace analysis. Trace analysis, it will stream the trace to the AI-DBA portal. So you don't need to log into your SQL instance to monitor what's happening. And the traces, it will take it automatically. And you can see like here, it's showing me that what activities happening within the SQL instance. So if I wait, all these traces will appear one by one. Okay. If let's say you would like to know about the insights of the trace, then you can click on the insight, and here again is a descriptive insight about the trace and what happened, and it keeps the history of the trace. We have metrics. Metrics, it will show you the basic and the most important monitoring metrics like processor utilization, memory utilization, blocking, like here, credit plans, plan cache, like weight stats and signal weight, for example. Like signal weight, it shows that whether the CPU is under pressure or the memory disk and the network is under pressure. You can see that here. And the last one is the documentation for the server. But again, we are adding on more features like performance insights, like, analyzing the long-running queries. We are working on a lot of new features which we'll release in the next 2 weeks. And you guys can have your trial account to play with those features. Here is a documentation that is generated. Yes, so let's look at it. Yeah, 76 pages is automatically generated. It has all the content that we selected. No actions by DBA required. This is the graphics for some technical monitoring and the trends, and physical memory, whether it's right now it's the local memory pressure. And here we have the signal weights. Here we have the score in detail, which one is passed, which one is didn't pass and failed. So it come out here. And here we have the disk storage IO activities. Here we have the server inside, which is the same text. It appears in the report. And when we scroll down, we can see all the configurations, details, the MCR. MCR is very important. If let's say you guys decided to perform the hardware upgrade or migration from the old server to the new server or the old version to the new version, you would like to know that how many CPU cores you need to allocate for your SQL server. So this MCR is very insightful. It can give you the numbers. It can tell you that, hey, if you have this number of users, this is the workload, this much of CPU cores is needed. But this is the demo account. It doesn't really appear high. So mostly 0, 1, or 2. You can see that it keeps track of it. It tells you that what is needed. This is something that DBAs need to do it frequently, but unfortunately, there is no available tool until today. But right now you have the tool to keep track of the resource utilization. And here's the configuration for that, and DBCC consistency check. Here we have database insights again. Against each database, we have the insight in detail. Here we have the long-running queries. Yeah, and here we have the agent jobs, objects, and here we have the job activities. This is the event log. It come out with the errors and the warnings, but those critical. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? The next tab, anyway, if you are DBA and you use AI-DBA, mostly you will use this servers page, but for the security wise, you are able to add new user. And in the new user, you are able to say that, hey, I want your role to be user. I want the expiry date for your access. And I would like to, let's say, have access to these two servers. You can set it. You can set your user configurations. In the next feature that we are going to release soon, we have granular permission, which means that you can specify this specific user where it can access, whether it's able to generate backup, whether it's able to generate documentation, whether this specific user is able to restore database. You can set that granular permissions. Here we have the gateway page. So you are able to see the list of the gateways that installed, whether it's active, when last sync, and you can have a look at configuration. So here you can allow the gateway to search for more SQL instances within the network. Imagine you install AI-DBA for a huge environment like insurance companies, like banks. Sometimes these companies, they lose track of their SQL instances. Sometimes their vendor come and install a SQL server, but they don't let them know, and they don't know how, where is it. So with AI-DBA, you are able to find all the SQL Server instances within the network. And another configuration here is the maximum concurrent connections, means this gateway is able to connect to 20 SQL instances concurrently. And another one is the locking mechanism. So here, we designed the AI-DBA in a way that you can install multiple gateways to manage your SQL farm. And each gateway can come out and connect to the server if there's no owner for it. For example, if this gateway is connected to all the servers, the 5 servers, then another gateway is not able to connect to these 5 servers. Means these 5 servers are locked and owned by AI-DBA demo gateway. This is more on locking mechanism. And another page that the admin will mostly use it is the subscription page. AI-DBA is the SaaS and is pay-as-you-go model. Every day the charges will be different. It depends to your usage, what you are asking AI-DBA to do. If you perform health check, if you generate documentation and so on, the cost will increase definitely. If not, it's just monitoring severe alerts and errors, workarounds, definitely the cost is low. Like you can see that one day it can reach $26, the other day it can reach almost $2, and the other day it can reach $10. You can perform your cost analysis as well here, like the differences between this month and the previous month. And we accept the payment method is the credit card, and the credit card is powered by Stripe. We don't keep any credit card info because we are not, payment gateway. So we actually partner up with the Stripe, and the Stripe is keeping your credit card info, and we just instruct the Stripe for the charges. Here we have the invoices. You are able to download your invoice. You have a detailed billing statement here. You can see that what's going on for that specific server, what is the charges, how many times it happened. If you would like to know about the user activity and who did it, for example, like exporting the documentation and so on, in the next release, we are going to have that report as well. Another thing I would like to share here is the engagement. If let's say you are required to have a kind of human DBA support, or something like you would like to do, like, for example, SQL migration or consolidation or upgrade, and you don't have the manpower or the expertise, fine. You can just define it as once or recurrent. If let's say you want to engage our support team for 3 months, you can just choose a date for another 3 months, for example. And this is the maximum hours you can get it in 3 months. But you say, hey, I want 100 hours within 3 months. And you can just provide the briefing. Yeah, creation team. And you can say that who else will be in the loop and the estimated charges. So immediately you can find out what is the charges, who will be in the loop for this project, and this is the hours. Okay. This is more on engagement, like professional services. Another feature I would like to share here is the command line. So in AI-DBA, whatever you have done, you can do it through the command line as well. So through the command line, you are able to do everything. You can even call for the check. You can even export documentation, export inventory, look at the MCR in details, yeah, workarounds, everything basically. So any questions so far? Okay, cool. So probably you are asking how to sign up and how will it be? It's very simple. You just go to the portal.ai-dba, ai-dba.net, and you can click on sign up here, or probably you can go for ai-dba.net and click on start for free, and it will lead you to this. Basically, the email address that we get it from the user is more on the notifications. We never send marketing emails. We never send sales or follow-up, nothing. Let's say we just do say at ai-dba.net. But if there's anything like same email with the same domain, then it will appear that is whether it's registered in the same domain we have it, ask someone else to do it, let's say test. Okay. So here we have the password. Let's say we set the password here. Next, we ask for the name. This is more on the name, let's say test AI-DBA, company AI-DBA software, and the HTTPS AI-DBA.net. And we ask here, you need to choose your region because this will be, the region that we will keep your metadata, the health check, the documentations, whatever that you set in the AI-DBA portal, it will remain in this region. And you are not able to migrate your account from one region to another region in the future. So it's very important. And please choose the region that is closest to you for a better performance. Let's say here we choose Canada and we create account. Done. So we just need to give about 1 minute to do the synchronization. Let's try. Yep, done. So the account is created, is blank, it has nothing. Okay, cool. So any questions? Great then. Thanks for joining the call. and I hope you enjoyed the demonstration.